Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the When in Seoul Podcast. Danny Cho here. Bobby Choi
Whoa.
also in the building. Today we have a special guest. He is actually me and the guest. We have done radio together a few times. He is part of the group Busker Busker, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Moore is in the house.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Brad.
No, it's my pleasure.
You are the most famous guest we've had so far.
Oh, yeah? Am I the only guest?
No, you are not the only guest. Yes.
Yeah.
But Brad, thanks for being here.
No problem.
Why don't you
how long have you been here, first of all, in Korea?
So this November marks 10 years.
Whoa.
10 years.
A decade. So 2008 November, we came over and been stuck here.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so you've been here longer than us, so you should be schooling us.
I school you guys?
Yeah.
Do you guys know the kimchi?
Do you know the kimchi?
First of all, what brought you out here 10 years ago?
Just to teach English. So my now wife, then girlfriend at the time, Danny, I came home. We were a campus couple in university, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we met junior year, and we had an apartment together senior year. I came home from class one day, and she goes, I got a job in Korea. And I was like, what? I was like, you're just leaving? I go, what about us? And she goes, whatever. You know, it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
And I go, well, what's the job? And she goes, teaching English. And I was like, well, can I come too? And she goes, yeah, message him. So I emailed them, and I was like, you got a position for me? And they go, couple position? Yeah, we'll look for it. They found it immediately almost. And then 6 months later, we landed in Incheon Airport, and within a week, we were teaching English.
Wow.
So it was just kind of random. And it was a one-year contract. So, if things would have went sideways, then we just walk away, and you come back after a year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Have a year adventure. And that was the original plan, to come over for a year, pay off some student loans, have a little fun. Basically, teaching English here is you kind of get paid to travel, paid to expend to.
So it wasn't like, let's
new.
go to Korea. I think I could be a musician out there.
No. I wasn't sitting at home like, how can I dominate K-pop? I knew nothing. It wasn't in the plans. Drumming wasn't even really a huge passion of mine.
Okay.
It was just teaching English for a year and then head on back to the States and start, quote unquote, a real life.
Wait, where were you living again? In the States?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, Southwest Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's technically the Midwest, right?
Yeah, it's
Ohio?
definitely Midwest. Yeah, it's Trump country.
Danny's from LA, I'm from New York,
right.
And so everything in the middle we don't care about.
Yeah, exactly. Just to fly over. We see you guys flying over like, oh, must be nice, wherever you guys are going.
Y'all don't got international airports.
We barely have airports.
Well, we want to know a little bit more about how you got into Busker Busker. Then we don't want the short version. We don't want the long version.
The short version?
Yeah.
So Danny and I taught kindergarten and elementary school for a year. Didn't care for the job. And we were like, when we get a university gig. So we got a university gig. We started teaching at Sangbyung University. And it's an art school down in Cheonan. And during our midterm exams, we did paperless exams. So we just did a conversation. And one of my students was like, during his exam, one of his questions to ask me, which I had to prepare, was, you want to jam sometime? You want to join my band? Me and a few students, we got a band. We know you play drums. They've seen me at open mic and stuff. And so the first day of practice, I go down there, we're jamming, and they go, we don't have a name. So they gave me two name choices. It was Pinky Pinky or Busker Busker.
Oh, Pinky.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. I mean, both of them aren't bad, but what's the meaning of Pinky Pinky? Where's that coming from? And they go, well, back in the day, pink was a color of royalty.
Oh, it's not the finger, the pinky.
No, it's not the finger, it's the color.
Okay.
And so I said, okay. And then Busker, and he goes, well, their kind of style was to go on the streets and busk. So they were Busker Busker, you double it kind of sounds cuter or whatever.
Did you know what busking was before they brought that?
I knew what it was. I did not know that word.
Same here.
I mean, I know that there are street performers that have an open guitar case and you throw them $1. But the word busk and busking, I had no idea.
Wait,
me too.
So that's not prevalent. I mean, I've only heard that word here, but
when I came to Korea, it was the first time I heard.
So in the States, when you say
busking.
busking, they would be like, "What is that?" Right?
I don't think they would know.
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we just saw, if you saw a performer on the street, it was a street performer.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like someone just
Exactly.
like, yeah.
I think it's a European thing. Maybe it's a British thing. I don't know
Possibly.
where it came from. I mean, I know it's a real word.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you Google it, it's a real word. But yeah, but Koreans, I mean, they really use it a lot. Busking.
Because pinky to me sounds like a secret, like a pinky swear. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, like, hey,
I never
this
thought of
is
it
a
that way.
secret to hear our band.
Yeah. So
So, but you vetoed Pinky.
yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
make sense to me.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't like laugh in their face, like that's dumb. But
Yeah.
it was just like I was like, okay, Busker Busker, because I asked them, what does it mean? And then they told me like we generally play out on the streets on the
Yeah.
weekends, and I go, oh, that fits great. And it was during that practice that we're sitting there jamming, and there was like 9 or 10 of us in the room. We had a hip hop dude, we had an MC, we had a violinist, we had anyone basically that wanted to join the band could.
Oh, okay.
So like I wasn't like the creme de la creme. I was just some dude that could sit behind the drum set.
You were
Okay.
you weren't a free agent.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just go back there, we're jamming, and then Bumjun, our lead singer, he gets a call that practice from a TV show that he had previously tried out for. Last year. They said last year as a solo artist, you weren't strong enough, but this year, season 3 of the show, we're having groups and bands on. Do you want to bring a band? And so he kind of asked everyone, like, what do you guys think? And everyone's like, wishy-washy, some hands up, some hands down. And they go, well, Brad, what do you think? And I said, maybe. And they go, well, it depends on Brad because Brad is the only one with a car. And it was in Daejeon. And so we got to carry a drum, a guitar, and a bass to Daejeon. And they're not trying to do that on the subway or the bus or whatever. So they're like, if you can go this Sunday and drive us there. And my mind was on, because I was like, where is it? They're like, Daejeon. And I was like, Costco Pizza. And I was like, boys, we're going to have a great day. We're going to go to this place and I'm going to take you to some crazy pizza.
So this actually, Busker Busker wouldn't have happened if all these things, like you didn't have a car, if you didn't have a car, if there was no Costco, if there's...
Right. If it would have been on any day except Sunday, which we all had free. So what happened is, there was like 9 or 10 of us in the room at the time. Basically, we said, whoever wants to come, raise your hand now. When it was fixed, and I was like, I'm driving there. Who's going to be in my car? Only 2 other dudes raised their hand, Bumjun and Hyungtae. So the 3 of us go there. We so we show up, and I mean, I'm not. I mean, there's probably 100,000 kids waiting in line.
No way. Oh,
100,000
my goodness.
kids.
Okay.
So, in the whole first round in general, there was 2 million contestants.
Oof.
So we show up. They know Bumjun's coming because we're one of the few bands. Everyone's a solo artist.
Right.
So the producers come out and get us. They take us through the front of the line, and they put us like in these little tents. And there's no camera. It's just a couple producers.
Right.
And then we play our little song. We played JYP's Honey.
Oh, you played a cover, not an original. Okay.
They only want covers on the show.
I see.
Only. There's like legal issues. They would have to cut us in on copyright.
That's
so they're
right.
like, just don't mess with any of that. Just do covers. We know exactly who to give the copyright money to.
Right.
To JYP or whatever.
Right.
It's easy. So I said, cool. So we played we played Honey, and they go, okay, cool. We'll call you. So we went to Costco, had a good day, drove home, and we just had a good day.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, you passed the next round. And like, well, when's that? They go, this Sunday, back in up in Seoul, actually. And we're like, oh man, we gotta drive again. So then I drive us up here, and then we did that for a couple months, and then eventually it gets down to
So a couple months every Sunday you'd have to go. Basically?
Not every Sunday, but one Sunday a month.
And then you had to,
and then one right before the school started. No, this was after the semester started. So this is like mid-September, right? The 3 of us are out getting drunk together in Cheonan, and the show calls like, hey, we want to invite you guys to be in our top 10. And we're like, sweet, game on. And they go, well, there's some stipulations. Brad's got to quit his job, and you boys got to drop out of school.
Ooh.
wow.
And like we heard that.
Wow.
And I was like, no, boys, shut it down. I was like, this is insane. Like, we're not ready for this. It was
Yeah.
my visa, my life.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I said, boys, shut it down. And they go, right, we can't drop out of school. You guys can't. You can't quit your job. So we shut it down. 10 minutes later, Danny calls my wife, and she goes, what are you guys doing? I was like, I was just getting drunk with the boys. And I go, get this. The show just called. They want us to put us top 10. And she's like, oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Be on TV. And I go, yeah, well, we nixed it. they said I got to quit my job and the boys got dropped out of school. And she goes, yeah, but it's a story, right? You should do it. And I'm like, what? I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm going to lose my visa. And she goes, listen, we came over here for a story. Just go do it and have fun with these guys. You'll get on TV at least once, right? And I go, yeah, we're guaranteed at least one performance on TV. And she goes, well, that'll make it worth it.
Wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so then I told the boys, I said, hey, Danny just said do it. And they were kind of taken back because they were like, wait, but in this relationship, she's the brains and you're the dummy, but the brains are saying go do this?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And they go, well, if we have her permission. So they called the show back immediately and said, we're ready. They said, we're going to pick you up next week. They didn't even call their parents. They're going to drop out of school and go on some TV show.
Did you tell the school that you're leaving?
Yeah. So the next day I went in and so I went to my boss and I go, get this. Me, Bomjun, and Hongtae, we're going to go in top 10. Because the school knew we were trying out.
Okay.
And they were very supportive of it. They thought it was cool. So we told the school. They were furious.
Yeah.
Because I was quitting. And I was like, oh, yeah. So
semester already started. And
mid-semester I had to quit.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So they said, we're going to cancel your visa immediately. And I go, oh, please don't. Can you just give me a couple weeks to figure things out? They go, no, we're mad. The administration's mad. And so basically, I had to help them. I helped them find the teachers. And Danny, my wife, she covered as many classes as she could.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so she's working overtime to cover my butt. And then that Thursday, they pick us up, the three of us. We packed one bag and drive us out to the country, and we start making this TV show. And it was just, immediately when we get there, they take away our phones, our money, our credit cards, and whatnot.
Your phones, too.
Everything.
They don't want you to
spoil stuff.
I see. Wow.
What about the money, though? Like
they don't want us buying stuff.
Why not?
Because the diet.
Oh,
so we're on a restricted diet. They don't want us sneaking Cheetos and stuff.
Wow.
It goes as far as that? They're like,
so
wow.
So so the diet was, in the morning we had a cup of tofu. And then during the day we'd have 3 salads and 3 packaged chicken breasts. I was a vegetarian, so I only had. So I was bartering. So I would trade my chicken breast for someone else's salad. So I was eating like 5 or 6 salads a day. So the show was 9 weeks. I lost 30 pounds.
Dang.
My goodness!
Yeah.
But that's what they wanted.
They wanted that system. They wanted that type of training because we're basically doing K-pop training in a matter of 2 months.
I'm gonna just say this right now. That's wrong.
Yeah,
that sounds really wrong, actually, to put people through.
I can't give up Cheetos, man. I just can't.
But the thing about it is when we were in it, we were pot committed. I had quit my job. They had dropped out.
Okay.
So we really didn't even look at it that way. We didn't really step back and say, is this right? Do we deserve this? Is this moral? Because it was game on.
Yeah.
This was everything.
Yeah.
So we just focused on making the music because the next Friday, so we came on Thursday, the next Friday, they said, you're going live and you're playing this song. We had never heard the song. It wasn't our song. And so we had to prepare all week. We're just focusing on the song. We weren't even focusing on the diet or any of that stuff or the makeup or hair, nothing. We're just focused on the song. So Friday comes along and we hop out on stage. As soon as we go on stage, they tell us what the audience count, and they're like, it's blah blah blah, 1 million people. Like, why don't you just shut up? Don't tell my boys there. Listen, we're just trying to focus and get through this 2-minute song. Shut up about the millions of people, okay? We go out there, first chord, Bumjun's guitar breaks, and it's just,
really?
Yeah, cuts out.
Ooh.
I mean, it's an old guitar.
It's not a live show, though, right?
It's live.
It's live.
100%. You can watch it on.
Is it live?
You can watch it on the internet, man. It's bad. So it's just me and the bassist just holding down this song, and the singer singing, Bumjun singing, right? And I'm heartbroken. I mean, gave up everything for 2 minutes, and it went to crap. So afterwards, I'm like, guys, we just messed this up. We messed up our whole lives. So I said, it'll be fine. We'll try to figure it out, Brad. We're sorry.
But you're on TV.
We're on TV.
That was
on TV with no guitarist in a guitar-focused song. Yeah. So we go out on stage at the end, and they get our scores. Our scores are super low, but our text message votes, which is like 10% or 20%, are through the roof. Like, people didn't mind. They thought it was kind of funny. Because they could kind of feel, they called it a freshness, that we kind of didn't care
Yeah.
what was going on. We were just having fun and just trying to rock out on
I
TV.
would have voted for you guys if I saw that.
Yeah,
I
and-
thought, oh man, that guy just broke his guitar.
Right.
Like,
And there's some white dude playing drums. And the also thing about these guys is what foreigners don't understand when they're watching the show is both of these guys have saturi, they have dialects. So Hyungtae is from Busan and Bumjun is from Jeollado. So they talk like countrified.
And different, and their dialects are both different too.
From each other.
Yeah.
And on Seoul, you rarely get, back then, 10 years ago, you rarely got those. So they said these two boys from the country and some white dude in the back just having fun on TV. This is fun.
Yeah.
well, this show. The funny thing about this whole situation is this show is called When in Seoul, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a show about us foreigners living in Seoul, and you're actually bringing this your story.
Yeah.
Like this is the epitome of what the show is about. Like talking about a complete foreigner.
Right.
Like Danny and I, at least, we have Korean backgrounds. But yeah, here's this white guy that came from Ohio to Korea, and he finds himself on a Korean K-pop audition show.
Right.
And anyway, I'll let you take over again because
No. But the thing about that is the thing that I appreciate now in retrospect is they took no mercy on me for being a foreigner. Like, it was game on. In the K-pop industry, they don't care that you don't understand the daily schedule or what they just directed to you in Korean.
Right.
Because they don't care about you. Because you're just a band member, do this. And looking back, it was really stressful. I was like, is anything in English? And they're like, no, nothing's in English. But now looking back, I was like, of course, why would I expect any type of English?
Right.
This is Korea. And, I just jumped in head first. And my Korean skill improved immensely because of it. It was kind of like trauma training, you know what I mean? Like, you got to understand. So anyways, on that Friday, we went live. It sucked, but the judges, they didn't like us, but they said, you passed the next week. And I said, all right, guys, we get one more week, and next Friday we're going to go live, and we're going to do this right. So it's the English song week, and it was Ricky Martin's Livin' La Vida Loca.
Ooh.
So I was like, this is bad.
They chose the song for you then, or they gave you an option?
They gave us like 10 options.
10 options, okay.
And that was the best one?
Yeah. That we thought it would work well with the guitar. So we get that song. So the Friday before that, the Friday we did it was called Tokyo Girl, went to crap. Saturday and Sunday, we didn't know this, but the plan was to go in, record the song, and on Monday release the song we did on Friday as a digital single.
Yeah, okay.
So we did it, and it was bad. We'd never been in a studio before. I'd never mic'd drums. It was just bad. It took us hours and hours. But they make a track. Wake up Monday morning. They released it. We get in the car, and our van driver, who we had gotten to know and like a lot, he looks back, and he goes, do you guys know what happened? And we're like, no. And he goes, you didn't see the news? I was like, we have no way to see the news. What happened, dude?
Oh, that's right. You don't have your phone.
We don't have anything. And he goes, they released your song. I go, yeah, they released everyone's song. He goes, yeah, but you guys are number one. So that song hit number one.
Wow.
And it was just like, we looked at each other like, what is going on? I mean, like, we're hungry. We're just, the song was terrible live. And for some reason, people like the track.
Well, you know what happened? Your wife, Danny, was right. She's the brains.
Exactly. She knew that all it would take was... So that first week, we started building like a fan base. And the next week, we go out. Our song's Livin' La Vida Loca. We go out on stage. Guitarist hits first chord. Same thing happens.
No.
The guitar broke again, man. So it's just poor Bumjun, who can't speak English or Spanish, singing Livin' La Vida Loca. We had to write it out phonetically. Livin' La Vida Loca, upside, inside out. It was choppy. It was bad. And then the judges were like, that was terrible. And we're like, we know. But the text message votes were through the roof. Yeah. We passed, recorded the song. The same thing happened again. The song shot up the charts, the recorded version.
Wow.
And then that happened 9 weeks in a row.
The guitar kept breaking every week?
That was the last time. So after that, my sadness went to anger. And I said, Bumjun, you got to do something. We got to get a new guitar. We got to do something.
Yeah.
So that was the last time he used that guitar. So we got a new guitar. That never happened again. So we just week by week by week, we just kept passing and passing. And we're hearing all these rumors from people like, you guys are creating a buzz. There's something big about you guys, and people are tuning in for you guys. And that's why you're passing. We didn't know why we were passing because we're seeing the judges score, and we're hearing what the judges are saying to us, and it's all negative. Everything's bad.
But you're getting this news from your driver because
Yes,
it's almost like prison.
bus driver.
You get like visitors coming in.
They're passing
So how's
through us
it like on the outside? Like what's going on out there?
Cigarettes, bro. On the outside.
That's what it was like.
You guys are trading chicken and salad in the joint.
So after we kept going, eventually we ran out of clothes. We only packed for like a couple weeks. So we ran out of clothes. So one day the producers come to us and say, give us the contact of someone at your house and then make a list of what clothes you want. They'll pack the bag, give the producers. Producers will get it to us.
Yeah.
So I make a list to Danny. We sneak off to a computer with internet. And one of the times we're shooting, and I write her an email. And I said, listen, the producer's going to contact you about clothes. You got to hide me a cell phone in there. And I said, hide it somehow. We didn't have a we only had one cell phone. I said, you got to go buy a cell phone and hide it in there.
This is the greatest story ever.
So she didn't even respond. I don't know if it's happened. I don't have contact with her.
Right.
So the next Friday, we do the same thing. We go out, play our live song. I see Danny in the audience. She's got a little, suitcase. I'm like, sweet. And I'm trying to say, is the phone in there? Is the phone? But we can't talk to each other. We weren't allowed to touch, right? So after the show, I see a producer go out to Danny, grab the suitcase, bring it. So I was like, sweet, guys. I was like, So we get on the bus. They ship us out to the country again, to our camp. And I'm looking through this bag, and there's no phone. I mean, it's just my clothes and shoes and stuff. And I go, this is fresh. And so the thing, there's shoes in the bottom. I was like, I don't even want these. I didn't even ask for these shoes.
Right.
But then I was like, whoa, one of these shoes is really heavy. I was like, oh my God, it's in the shoe. So I'm looking in the shoe. There's no phone in the shoe. And I'm looking at the bottom, and it's like super glued shut. And I go, she James Bonded into the sole of the shoe. So I'm on the back of the bus trying to rip it open, and my bandmates look at me like I'm an idiot. Like, what are you doing? I was like, I think there's something in the shoe, guys.
This is like Goodfellas. When they're like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
So we opened it up. So that was about 5 weeks in. And on the show, we became like legends in the house because Busker Busker snuck in a phone.
So the other bands, they knew, the other acts, they knew you had a phone?
Oh, of course,
like,
yeah.
So you...
I mean, by that time, we were all best friends, and we were all in the mission together, just trying to survive. So they saw that, and they go, dude, Busker Busker, you guys are legends.
Yeah. So were you like letting them use the phone in exchange for like more chicken breast?
Should have. But the thing about it was, I mean, we were very close with them, but it was an awkward closeness because we were doing so well on the show.
Yeah.
But the other top 11 members, they really wanted this really badly.
Right.
And we didn't.
Right.
So our success was somewhat bittersweet because we saw our friends who really wanted this. A lot of them were signed to management companies. A lot of them had not gone to school for this. This was their life.
Sure,
and they were taking it so serious, and we were not. And the audience kind of saw that we were somewhat carefree, and they liked it more than the people who had trained all their lives. So it was an awkwardness in the house. We were very friendly, and we loved them.
And then you were watching them one by one go home.
Yes, and it was torturous.
Yeah.
It was absolutely torturous, watching them go home, knowing that they wanted it more and they probably deserved it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was torturous. Yeah, I remember a few times tearing up when they said goodbye because when they disappeared from the house, they disappeared. I mean, we had no idea where they were going. Turns out they were going, it's another story, they were going to a very weird place. I don't know if you guys want to get there. It was something called the incubation house. So
what?
What the hell is that?
Wait. This is getting real now. What?
It's such a fun story.
Yes, we do want to know what the incubation house is.
So what happened is, So the night you get eliminated, they bring you back to the camp and they prepare you to go back home. But they're not really doing that. What they're preparing you for is take you to the next step called the incubation house, where the company, even though you didn't win, they're going to train you anyway to become an artist.
Oh, really?
Because you're popular. You've been on TV.
Yeah.
Sure, you didn't make first place, but we're going to train you, and then we're going to film that process and make a new show off of it.
Really? Okay.
We didn't know this. So we kept hearing, so our mantra during the show, Busker Busker's mantra was, we got to get back to Cheonan. We just want to go home. We just want to go home.
Okay.
We get 11th place, cool. We get first place, cool. We want to go back. And we just had this mantra of going back to Cheonan. It was kind of funny because the other members, like Ulalasetion, when they would hear us talk about Cheonan, we talked about it like it was such a magical place. Like, we got to get back to Everland. You know, I mean, it's like some special pristine heaven. We just wanted to go home. We were so tired. We just wanted to go home, and we could see everyone else wanted it more.
Right,
we felt out of place. We didn't fit in. We got along, but we didn't fit in. So we started hearing these rumors that everyone else, they're not going home. They're going to an incubation house.
Which sounds, for me, when you said that, I thought it was maybe a place where they kept them until the show is over, so they didn't talk about what happened to anyone in the press or whatnot, you know?
That must have been part of it as well. That could have been part of it. But it was also, they started doing vocal training and preparing songs and whatnot. And so we heard that, and like, none of us even had to talk to each other or even ask if we were up for that. We all just knew that's not happening. So we just said, we're not doing this. So we went to our manager, right? The manager of the show. And the manager of the show is a really cool dude. He was not an employee. He was a celebrity manager. He had been like, he's like one of these like superstar managers that they brought in to manage us. He really did manage us on the show, you know, our scheduling and whatnot. So we got him and say, hey, we've been hearing about this incubation house. And he was pretty frank with us. And we're like, we're not up for it. We don't want to do that. And he goes, all right, well, here's what you got to do. Here's how to get away from it. And we concocted this plan. So we were passing every week. So we sit down, the three of us. So we said, okay, listen. He says, listen, boys. He goes, after the show, chances are Ulalasetion is going to win first. We all knew it. I mean, they were great. They were older than us. They had choreography. They sang better. We all knew that they were going to win. That was known from the very beginning. Ulalasetion was going to win, and we were cool with that. We were all fighting for second place.
Okay.
So we knew it. So he says, come the finale, Ulalasetion is going to win. Busker Busker, you're going to get second place.
So they tell you beforehand.
No. This is just our perception of what's going on.
I see. Okay.
No, I think it was real. The votings were real.
Yeah.
It wasn't fake. But we could just tell.
Oh, right. Okay, so you guys are...
We could just tell who's going to win. I mean, we see the performances, and we see what Ulalasetion is capable of.
The projections.
Yeah, we just know.
Sure. Okay.
And to us, we know. No, the show never told anything like that. And I don't think it's true. I don't think it was pre-planned. So they said after the show, you're going to get second place, most likely. And then what you're going to have to do is they're going to try to separate Brad and Danny. And I go, what do you mean? They go, well, you know how, like, your family gets to come on the stage afterwards? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you're going to have to pull Danny, my wife, up on stage. And he said, just never let go of her hand. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, no, listen to me, Brad. Don't let go of her hand. And I'm like, oh, bro, this is weird. Like, this is next level. And they go, it's going to be hard to get you into the house. It's almost impossible. They're not going to bring an outsider in. They're not going to let Danny in the house, in the incubation house. As long as Danny's with Busker Busker, you guys are cool.
Okay.
So he said, okay, that's the game plan. So end of the show comes, and so I see Danny in the crowd. So I say, come up on stage. And the bodyguards, they say, nope, she's not coming on stage. And we had gotten pretty comfortable with the bodyguards and familiar. Yeah. And they go, oh, it's Brad's wife? I guess it's okay. So once she was on stage, we knew our plan was working.
Yes.
It's like Danny's on stage. You can see it. I mean, it's on the video. It's on the final stage, right? So Danny's on stage. And then they said, get in this van. You guys are going to party. So we went to after party all night long. After party, celebrating, goodie bags, the whole deal. And then they said, go back to your camp now. Danny can go with you. Pack up. And then we'll come pick you up. And that was the pickup we were worried about. That was the incubation house pickup. So we go back, the four of us, just Busker, Busker, and Danny. We're in the house. We pack up. And then the company knocks on the door. And they go, all right, well, we got your transportation to Seoul. And we looked him right in the face and said, very timidly, we're not going to Seoul, sir. And he goes, this is procedure. No big deal, guys. Just hop in the van. And
Yeah.
we're not going, sir. And he goes, well, what's your plan, guys? And we're going to Cheonan. And he goes, oh man, he knew we were trouble because this is the first time anyone had said they're not going. So,
were you guys bound by contract
No.
to go? Okay,
see, that was the one thing we planned too, because
that's-
as soon as the winner is named, the contract is finished.
Okay,
As soon as that, we're done.
okay,
Ulalasesion is now bound by a different contract because
Sure.
they won first place.
Right.
But ours dissolves because it's done, because the show's done. And so they're saying, we talk on the phone with a bunch of executives, blah, blah, blah. And then finally they put their hands up and they're like, all right, boys, you're not going. You're out in the country, do your own thing.
Nice.
So that van driver who's been sneaking us information,
Yeah.
we give him a call. And we said, hey, we're out at camp. Can you take us to Seoul? And he's like, yeah, $150. And I go, what?
What? You guys are really out.
And I'm
of
like,
it.
oh my gosh, we're out in the country, $150. So I was like, Danny, how much cash you got on you? And she had like $155.
Oh, wow.
So I said, good. So he called us. It's like 6 a.m. We've been going all night.
Uh-huh.
We filled this van with our stuff, and we go back to Cheonan, and we just chill. We turn off our phones for about a week, and we just relaxed. And during this time, it was buzz because we had disappeared. So they started doing this other show.
That
this
incubator
incubation
show.
Yeah. But there was only one portion missing. It was Busker Busker. So everyone's like, where are they? Where are they? What's going on? So as the fan community started addressing this issue, the company had to try to rectify it. So they called and said, please, can you do one episode? Can you do 1 hour on the show?
Yeah.
And it was just like, we feel like we had just completely not even stepped 1 foot into that world. So we just told them, no, we're not going to compromise. Thank you so much. We're not trying to be disrespectful, but we're cool in Cheonan. We're
Okay.
absolutely cool. But the netizens didn't stop, the fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so eventually they came to us and they said, fine. They go, what do you boys want? What do you boys want in terms of an entertainment life? And we said, the same things everyone wants, to make music. And they go, come up to Seoul. We'll talk about a music contract with you guys, an album contract.
Uh-huh.
You know, whatever you want, we'll try to meet your demands. So we went up
Wow.
there. So on a piece of paper, we wrote 7 demands. Like we can use our own producers. We had to play our own instruments and stuff like this. And then our last demand was that Danny Bacon has full access to the band at all time. And so these boys, these dudes, they're all in suits, right? It's like out of a movie. We're like 3 morons negotiating a huge record deal. And then they look, they're speaking English. And they're like, who's Danny Bacon? And she's in the back room like, it's me, sir. And he's like, you fine being associated with these 3 idiots? And just like, I'm just dead. I'm dead inside. I was like, guys, we're out of our element. This ain't cool. We're in too deep. She goes, yes, sir. And they finally said, fine. They threw the paper across the table, and they said, get it done. You know, you have 3 months. Get it done. And it was kind of a way that they were saying, we can profit off them in the short run, but we don't have to deal with them in the long run.
Right.
We'll give them an album. We'll use their popularity, sell some CDs.
Yeah.
And then these boys are out of our life. So the contract was only 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we signed it, and we just got to work. At that time, we did not have one full song. We didn't have anything. We had snippets, and we had jams and grooves that we would use on the street busking.
Okay.
But we never had a song, you know, verse, chorus, intro, bridge, outro. We never had any of that. So we got to work, and it was hard. And then they said contractually by April 1st, we had that, April 1st, 2012, we had to have the album out. So we got it finished on the 29th.
Okay.
Shot a little music video in Jeju Island, and then we released it at midnight. And then the next morning, it hit number 1. And it was just everything. And then we did 3 months of like hardcore K-pop scheduling for 3 months, and then the contract ended, and then we were free. But yeah,
Dude,
so that's
that
the story.
was
So this
the
all
greatest
happened in
story.
less than a year.
Well, first of all, big shout outs to your wife.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Danny is great.
Danny pretty much is the reason why, well, basically Busker Busker is here because of Brad and Danny.
Right.
know?
No, If she wouldn't have said go for it that one night, we would have just left it alone. If she'd have never called and just say, hey, what's up?
So, the K-pop, like the touring and the scheduling and all that. Not the touring, but like the scheduling, right? Yeah. Like, as someone that's, probably wasn't familiar with Korean music or K-pop or whatever, like, how did you feel about it?
The work really wasn't difficult, but it was just the time. So in the morning, the first thing you do is hair and makeup. So they pick us up in a van. It'd still be dark out, 5.
Wow.
Sometimes 4:30, 5:30. They pick us up, and then we immediately go to hair and makeup and styling. So the stylist would be at the hair and makeup place, just with his clothes and stuff. And then they'd put us in the clothes, hair, makeup. And in the early morning, we just did interviews.
Right.
So I guess for like newspapers and like webzines and whatnot, you do it early in the day, and then they release it in the afternoon or something. That's just how the scheduling works. So every day we did seriously 4 or 5 interviews a day.
Wow.
We did so many interviews, and they all asked the same thing. Like, how do you guys communicate in the band?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, we just do. We figured it out. I mean, there's no choice. You know what I mean? Or they would ask, what's your ideal type? Like, who's your favorite, Korean female idol? Yeah. And I was just like, that's weird. Not answering that next. And so we just didn't answer stuff like that because it was weird. So and they weren't prepared. None of these journalists were really prepared. So they just asked us the basic questions that they asked everyone else.
Do you like Korean food?
Yeah. Too spicy? No. So it was that during the morning, and then in the afternoon, excuse me, in the afternoon it was photo shoots and whatnot.
Okay.
And then at night generally at night, I don't know because of the sets, but we would do some commercials and stuff. So a lot of the commercials we did were 24 hours, straight. Ooh, so they would, in the commercial, the deal would say, we get you for 2 days. You have to do this for 2 days, and then you get this much money. So we say, okay. But those 2 days are really 2 days. It's 2 24-hour stints. Oof. And that was the stuff that just beat you down. It's just the time, just the no rest, not being able to sleep.
And then meanwhile, you have fans on the streets. You're recognizable now at this point, right?
You're famous.
Yes. So. As soon as we exited the show, it was like Beatlemania chaos. They knew where we lived because we didn't try to hide.
Wow. That must have been scary.
Yeah. But there's a politeness to it. Maybe because of age. Maybe we were foreigners. So they tried to put their best image forward, even though they were kind of wild fans. I mean, they never really were threatening. I never felt threatened by them. Annoyed, maybe, because sometimes, finally, someone would come up and be like, can I take a selfie? And I was like, sure. But then, you'd see a line start forming, 20 people, 40 people, 100 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just looking at my wife. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then you look at the fans, just why? When do you stop doing the selfies?
Right.
Who's the kid you say, no, you're not important enough to me. Yeah. So I basically just did them all.
Oh,
so you just kind of get used to it, and it's just so time consuming. So we're out there, we're doing this hardcore K-pop schedule, and then fans would recognize us, and we'd be tired and ornery. But they don't know. And it doesn't matter to them. They don't care. Yeah. We chose this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So So it was a whirlwind. But the thing about it with us is we had a finish line. We knew the date that our contract finished. So how hard can it be, guys? It ends in July.
Yeah.
So that was it. Because, if one of us was sick or tired or blah, 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 in July, it's all over. So just deal with it. But some of these other kids that are in it for years,
right?
That hurts me, man. That's painful to think about these kids.
I mean, because I'm not. I don't know exactly, but I know for the American Idol, those the top 10 or whatever, they have to sign with the company, and then touring and blah blah blah, and it's
right. They go on tour.
And
they do that tour,
but it's for a handful of years that they're signed on. It's not just for the tour.
It's funny though but everyone on those shows they want that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But The funny thing about Busker Busker is like from day one, it seemed like they wanted to get out there, get back home.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
just wanted
And
Costco pizza every now and again, really, right?
So that was kind of our mantra about going back to Cheonan, which is pizza and beer, pizza and beer, pizza and beer, pizza and beer. But that was two things we couldn't get.
Oh man!
But one of the coolest things about the show is there's this dude named Yuntek. So he was the lead singer of Ulalasesion의. And I was on the show. It was part of the narrative that he had cancer.
Oh.
So during the show, he's going through chemotherapy. And this dude, he kind of ran our house. Like he was like our advisor, our counselor, our mentor. He was the oldest, and just he had to be thinking about the end of his life during this process.
Wow.
And so just talking to him, like he had so much wisdom because he had to think about it. We're just dumb kids.
Yeah.
We never thought about our mortality, right? So, but he was so chill, and he liked us. He liked Busker Busker. He mentioned it in an interview. He was slightly jealous of our popularity and that we kind of didn't care so much about that. But he would always ask us about Cheonan, ask me about Danny, and one day, or quite a few days, he would have to go away for chemotherapy. He was the only one allowed out of the house. So he went out for chemotherapy the first day, and he came back, and he knocks on our little room, and he goes, Busker Busker, and he goes, I'm back. I was like, oh, are you okay? And he goes, yeah, that doesn't matter. And he opened up his coat, and it was lined with beer. He had went to the convenience store and brought Busker Busker back beer. This dude's going to chemotherapy.
Right.
But he had us.
Oh, wow.
And it was just...
That's great, man.
So the whole process, so the house, when you're in the house, everyone was kind of centered around Yuntek.
Yeah.
So even though it was hard and the scheduling was hard and we had to do with all this music stuff and recording and the cameras and the lights, like we had kind of had this commonality of looking out for Yuntek and supporting him because he knew it. And he was dying before our eyes. Like week by week, he was getting skinnier. Right. He started off the show chubby, and if you watch the final stage, how skinny he is, and he knows it, and he's dying right in front of us. So like the show, the 9 weeks was basically the bond around him. So yeah,
how is he today? Is he still
he passed
with us?
away
He passed away
less than a year after the show.
Oh, really?
So get this, he wins. He's such a cool dude. He wins first place on the show, becomes a K-pop star.
Yeah.
Gets married, has a child, and then passes away in a year.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
This was the main story in the house. The TV show was secondary to us.
Right.
And I don't know, I mean, watching the show, you really don't get that feel. So he was kind of the leader of the house. So that was the real story going on in the house. So us complaining about only having 3 or 4 salads a day, we didn't do it.
Right.
We didn't do it.
Of course.
Because our buddy here, our Young, is dying in front of our eyes.
But
and he's staying positive about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's sneaking us beer on his last days on Earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was just so that kind of set us all back to normal. And so it was a really cool experience to get to know him. And so that's what the house was for us.
I mean, Danny's right. It's for a story. It's one hell of a story, man. It's a crazy, crazy story.
Yeah.
And Danny Cho and I, we've hung out with you, like outside, and we've seen like fans come up to you and be like, the last time we went out, actually, we went to like a 90s K-pop club. It was like, what's the place called? Anyway, it was like 90s K-pop club. This guy comes up to you and is like, I've been watching you for like half an hour. And I was like, what? Is that really the way to start?
The creep.
Well, I think I mean, for me, when these fans started coming up to me, my first instinct was, the first reaction is, leave me alone. That's the first, the first time someone comes up in your face, you're like, hey, can we just not do this right now? But then you have to think about it. Like they're seeing someone that they think kind of only exists on TV.
Right.
They've never expected to see this person in real life.
Uh-huh.
And I think to myself, like, what would I be like if I saw something like that when I was 15?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everyone I've seen you take a selfie with, or you've always been gracious.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, because the thing about it is that you never know who's having the worst day of their life.
Right. Right.
So what I do is I always assume that everyone is having a bad day. I just assume that. When I wake up in the morning, I honestly think everyone in the world's having a bad day. So my job is to not make it worse. And if I have the ability to make it better, I'll do it. And if a selfie does it, that's so easy. You know what I mean? It's so easy to do.
You know, when we were in Jecheon a couple of weeks ago, and this girl that we were talking to, this girl that we got introduced to, and she's this really pretty girl. Apparently, she's like, I don't know. She looked famous.
She looked famous.
So
Sometimes you could just tell.
We're talking to her,
Yeah.
and she's like, she comes up to Brad and says, "Oh, it's good to see you again." And in the midst of the conversation, she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And Brad is like, "You're an entertainer, right?"
I was like, you're definitely famous.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm in the band Kara." Right? And
Right,
Kara,
right, right,
Kara is
right.
like a really famous
Super
K-pop.
famous.
And I'm just watching this happen. I'm wondering, like, does that happen a lot to you? Like, a lot of people...
Because
Yeah.
do we all really look alike?
No.
Just kidding.
no.
I'm kidding.
No, but that does. When we go to these huge like after parties, these very famous people come up to us, and generally, I'm very good with K-pop. I'm pretty good with K-pop, but and TV actors, I'm not so bad on. Movie actors, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some of these dramas, they come out every week, these TV dramas. So I can't keep track of everyone. You know what I mean? It's super hard.
Right.
So they'll come up and be like, I want you to know it's like an honor to meet you. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? Cheers, let's get a drink. But we just kind of chatting it up. And then I see my manager like, what are you doing? You need to bow. Like, you need to, you know who this is? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm really sorry. So my management, they freak out when they see it. But no, I mean,
You're
I
just
feel
being
bad.
human. You know?
Yeah. So what it is now, like at those environments, I treat everyone the same. I treat everyone like they're famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of have to. Right. So I just, since the band, the past 8 years, I just turned into that mode to treat everyone nice.
That's a great tip. Just
But
for a life tip.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to do.
I mean, because I'm not famous, but I don't treat everyone nice. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, ugh. I mean, that time when that dude wanted, there's a handful of people that want to take pictures with you at that club.
Yeah.
And I was with Bobby's brother. And then Bobby's brother was like, hey, how about take a picture with us, right? And the person said, no. Straight up, no. I don't know. Who are you? I'm not going to take a picture with you.
And then my brother was like, don't give him the photo, Brad. It's like...
There's one good story. So me, after one of our concerts, we all go out for like the hueshik and with the company, and we're eating at this Japanese restaurant. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and the signs for men and women's are in Japanese, the restrooms. So I'm like, ooh. And right beside me, a white dude pops up, and he goes, it's to the right, man. I go, oh, cheers, thanks. So the two of us go in there. We do our business. We kind of walk out somewhat together. And as him and I walk out, the whole restaurant is staring at us. And then we're like, what is going on? So it's like super awkward. They're just like staring at these two white. We're the only two white guys in the restaurant. So I go to my table, and everyone's like staring at me like, Brad. And then he goes, sit there, and he's like, dude. And then I'm like, what is going on? And then at the same time, like, my table goes, that's Robert Holly. And then Robert Holly's table goes, that's Busker Busker, Brad. So we were like two famous white dudes that didn't know each other. But all the Koreans knew what a funny situation it was. So yeah, of course we had to exchange selfies. My table wanted pictures with him. His table wanted pictures with me.
He's like a comedian, right? I mean, well, he apparently he was like a Mormon
missionary.
Correct. And
way
then,
back in the day.
Yeah, and then he moved out here and like he speaks Korean with like with the Busan accent.
Right.
He's a lawyer, I believe, right? And I'm like, wow, he became famous.
He's
out
super
here.
famous. Yeah.
Do you guys have secret meetups between all the other non-Korean celebrities? Like you guys have
the non-Korean celebrities.
Do you have a secret club? You know,
like the dude in YB's band.
Scott.
Oh, Scott. Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I meet up with him sometimes. You know, I mean, it's just your stories are so similar, and when you're coming from even like hanging out with like Eric Nam or Amber, coming from an American perspective, like it's good to trade stories in your own language. Like kind of in your own culture,
right?
Like just to talk things through. Because sometimes, even though like Bumjun Hyungtae and I go through the same situation, our emotions are very different.
Sure.
Because they'll be like, I didn't like this event because of XYZ. And I'll be like, oh, for me it was ABC. I didn't like that. And they go, oh. So you just had different perceptions.
Sure.
And so you like complain about different things or you work through things differently than like how native Koreans do. So I mean, James from Royal Pirates, basically,
yeah.
I mean, we've been in like some like birthday parties or group settings where like we look around and like we're just all English speaking K-pop people.
Yeah.
We had a bike club together a couple summers ago. We meet down at the Hangang and with Amber and whatnot and Kevin, Kevin from New Kiss.
Yeah.
And ride bikes together. But the thing about it is like I being with these super famous people that are much more famous than me, I was like a lightning rod in their group because I'm a little taller than everyone and I'm white. And they go, that's that Busker Busker dude. And then they'd start looking at the people I was with and be like, oh my God, that's Amber.
Yeah.
But like because I'm so recognizable, I kind of create more attention than the average Korean celebrity, which it's annoying to them. Because I draw attention to other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's annoying to me too. Like when we're out, like when we were at Chechen, it's my movie.
He doesn't have a line.
It's my movie.
He doesn't have a line.
Everyone's like stopping us. Hey, Brad, can we take a selfie? I'm just like, come on already.
So we're talking about like fandom. I mean, if you had to give advice on what's like proper way to approach
do's and don'ts.
Yeah, do's
basically.
and don'ts. From you, because out of all of us, you got it the most. So like, what is it? Maybe like you do not do this.
I think the biggest thing that gets to me is like my wife and I will walk into a restaurant or bar or club, and then you can see immediately when people recognize you. You can hear your name.
Yeah.
And then they just spend the whole night just staring.
Yeah.
Just staring. And then eventually after 2 hours, they'll come over and talk.
Yeah.
Just don't stare at me all night.
Yeah.
Just go do it.
Yeah.
When you see that famous person, just go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The staring makes me feel so uncomfortable because I know they're coming. But I
Yeah.
prefer just come over. Let's chat. Let's have a drink. You know what I mean? But just the staring from across the room, kind of.
they're whispering. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness.
Wife, Busker, wife. So we're hearing these words, and we're trying to act normal in that situation, but it's impossible to be normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I'll go up to them, and I'll be like, "What up? Let's take a picture." And they're like, "Really?" And then they take a picture, and then once that happens, not only do we go back to normal, they go back to normal.
Sure.
Because all they
Okay.
wanted was the selfie.
Right.
So you should just walk into any room or
just
restaurant and
start-
be like,
I'm
everyone,
here.
I'm here, Busker Busker. I'm here, Brad Moore here. Just, if anyone wants to take a picture, let's do it now, get it out of the way.
Right. Exactly. So that's a big thing. And one thing I thought about, if I were to like say the three of us are in a restaurant, right, back home, and like, Brad Pitt walks in and he sits down with his wife, and we're in an alcohol establishment. Where do your minds go? Like if you want to be like, oh man, that's Brad Pitt. Oh man, what do we do? Because my mind goes to, I see what they're drinking.
I send him a drink.
And I send him a drink.
Yeah.
That's never happened once.
Oh,
in
really?
8 years.
Okay.
In Korea.
Yeah. I really thought, I was like, oh man, we got famous. Free beer. Like they're going to see me with the Pilsner and be like, yo, next round's on me, Brad. And I'm like, you're the man. And then you get, but that's never happened.
Yeah. I don't think it's a Korean move to be like, hey, like, I see that you're drinking that soju.
Right.
Here's an extra bottle on me.
Exactly.
Like, I've never seen that.
Right.
Actually.
You know what happened once? I go to Itaewon for this trivia night, and it was canceled out from under me. So I was like, sit at the bar by myself. I was watching some TV. The bar is empty.
Yeah.
In walks, I kid you not, in Itaewon, a foreigner bar, dynamic duo.
Oh.
Oh, that's so funny. I just hung out with those guys last night.
So, you know, they're wearing the hats and stuff. They're just trying to have a chill night.
Yeah.
And so I'm at the bar, and dynamic duo's like 15 feet away. I've met these guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see what they're drinking, and I'm just going to take them over a drink. So I go to the bartender, and I go, give me a round. I'm going to buy a round. And they go, the bartender looks at me. He goes, do you know who that is? And I was like, that's Dynamic Duo, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and I was like, and he goes, are you comfortable going over there? And I was like, yeah. And so he goes and makes a drink. The bartender's trying to talk me out of this. He goes, bro, don't do this. So I was like, and so I'm telling him, it's like, give me the shots. I'm going over there.
Yeah.
So I get the shots. They even give it like on a little tray.
Yeah.
So I start walking across the bar, and I can see like they didn't go out the corner of their eye looking at me like some dude is walking over here. And so I set the drinks down, and I was like, "Yo, what's up? Long time no see." And they look up and like, "Brad, what the heck you doing here?" I was like, "Buying you some drinks." And so the bartender was like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, they accepted the drinks from this weird foreigner." And then about. So we had a whole night together, me hanging out with Dynamic Duo. Then as we were leaving, the bartender came up and apologized. And he was like, I didn't know who you were. I'm so sorry. And I was like, no. He's like, I tried to talk you out of it. I was like, no, it's cool.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that's where my mind goes.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And I expected it in Korea.
Yeah.
You know, to buy someone a drink. But yeah, it's never happened.
If you're fans of any of us listeners and you see us at a bar,
sure,
just buy us a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a selfie.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Or just give me the money.
Just like, hey, that's have the $6.50. That $6.50 is really helpful right now, bro.
Pay for my cab ride home. Oh man.
Yeah. But our fans, thankfully, have been super cool, super respectful. I don't know if it's type of music or like you hear these stories about the crazy Idol fans. We haven't really experienced any of that.
Yeah, look, I've heard some crazy stories.
Right?
Like some people get like love letters, but written in period blood.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
ooh,
that's a no.
Yeah,
goodness,
isn't that crazy?
okay.
But
that's
I'm
scary.
assuming you didn't get anything like that.
No,
crazy.
I think maybe what it was is at the onset of Busker Busker, they knew about Danny, so they kind of viewed us as the foreign English speaking couple that are around Busker Busker. And so that came with some type of level of respect. For whatever reason in our fandom, my two bandmates aren't looked at as, I don't want to say it, as the most intelligent of people. Our fans are really mean to them. I don't know why. They're smart dudes.
Yeah.
But so
that's too funny.
So
terrible.
A lot of the fans, they write about like, you know, Bumjun and Hyungtae being dummies. Like, they're so lucky to have Brad and Danny around to look out for them. So stuff like that. So from the onset, maybe because we were teaching university, whatever it was, we were kind of, and we're 5 years older than Bumjun and Hyungtae, we were looked at as kind of respected. So, like, no girls ever really tried to come after me like that, maybe out of respect for the relationship.
Right.
So thankfully
Yeah. Because, you know, like you hear about bands back home, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bras and panties are being thrown on stage, you know what I mean? But
we get stuffed animals and
and cakes.
And, they make cakes. I even have some of the cake toppings that they make like out of foam. That's our little likeness, and it really looks like us. So that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
They make us stuff. And when we got married, the fans, they sent us like a vacuum cleaner, food dehydrator.
Wow.
Mops, practical things for the house. It was really cool.
That's
our fans
cool.
are really cool. for whatever reason, but I'm thankful for it.
Well, Brad, man, thanks for coming on and telling your story. You know what? Today, our jobs, me and Bobby's jobs, were very easy. We didn't do much. We were just Brad, just go.
Glad I could give you the day off.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Like, a very pleasant surprise. We actually had some topics in mind that we wanted to talk about, but me and Danny at one point were like, let's just let him talk. It's like, this is
stories.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great story.
Man, well, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. For all the listeners, if you have any questions or comments, please email us at peninsulapod@gmail.com. Thank you, Brad, for coming.
Where can everyone find you? Like, you're on social media and stuff. Anything you want to plug?
Instagram, Good and Brad. Yeah.
Anything you want to plug? Like a movie you were in?
So
or like
I'm in this movie called Fiction and Other Realities. I've seen it, and it's fantastic.
All right, we'll end on a great note there. Thanks, everyone.
Today